Welcome back to All That Work for Nothing podcast.
How you doing today, gorgeous?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited to be. I love podcast days.
Oh, they're so much fun, right?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Like I'm excited for the new year.
Yeah, me too.
So when we're filming this, it's the week before the new year, before 2024.
Just a couple days after Christmas.
Christmas this year, I thought was going to be the worst Christmas I'd ever experienced because we are so poor that we were not able to buy each other gifts.
How poor are we?
Yeah. We're so poor. But we were not able, we decided to forego gifts this year. And the gifts that we did get, I think we only bought 2 gifts for your cousin's kids because they're so cute.
Yeah.
And, kids deserve presents on Christmas. So of all the people to buy presents for, I'm glad we got it for the kids.
It just means more when you're a kid. It really does.
Also, we killed it.
Oh, yeah.
They loved their presents.
They played with it the next day. That's how you can tell you got a good present for a kid. 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, they sent us another video this morning of them playing with it again. But I remember when they first opened it, the littlest one was like, open. And we had to be like, no, sorry, because it's a bubble wand. And you can't, you can do bubbles inside, but, we were at a very nice house and we didn't want to, ruin any wood or anything on the inside. So we decided, no, you guys are just going to have to do it tomorrow. So I made up this, lie where I was like, oh, bubbles actually don't work at night. They just won't blow.
And she did not. Nope.
No. It was funny because when I was a kid, I believed everything my mom told me.
Oh, same here.
She told me that in the 70s, because she was born in the 70s, she told me that people back then only had nubs and that they would get by on their little nubs so that when they would walk to school, it was instead of I went uphill both ways kind of thing. My mom was like, yeah, we only had nubs. There was no such thing as feet. So we basically would just have to nubble our way to the school. And I was like, and I don't know why I believed that as a kid. Cause I was like, wait, I have feet. What? And then I don't know. I was very little.
She had you believing feet were a new invention.
Yeah. She made me think that oh yeah, well you were born with the new technology.
GE came out with the feet.
Yeah. Yeah. My feet had to be screwed on. And I was like, what? I was gullible.
Your mom is so creative.
My mom is very creative.
I do appreciate that because I think it instilled a lot of creativity in you, which is amazing.
I was going to say, I think the reason I have such a crazy imagination, besides being ADHD, I think the reason I have such a big imagination and I can yes and so well is because my mom has the most wonderful imagination. And yeah, there was a few of them. Another one was that she told me that cotton came from the clouds.
I love that one. That is so
I think that's so cute, right?
So cute.
She also made me believe that you could book a vacation on the clouds. And so she would be right. Yeah, and so I'd be constantly asking her can we go on the clouds? Can we go on vacation on the clouds? And she's like, yeah, it's just really expensive to get up there. So we'll have to save up for a few years. And I was like, oh, and I was I wanted to go up there so bad. And then anytime I would see anyone parachuting, my mom would be like, oh, they must have gone up there to get cotton. And I was mesmerized. I was oh. And then I probably wanted to be a cotton collector, putting it in my pack.
So when they ever have those streams, how they have streams of air coming from the back of parachuters? Yeah. Were you oh my God, they're losing some?
Wait, what are you talking about? Stream of air coming? That's from a jet.
Yeah, but every once in a while, for certain ceremonies, parachuters will have. Yeah.
Oh, no. I knew that was smoke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I wasn't that dumb.
I just thought it would go along with the whole vibe of they're collecting cotton. Oh no, they're losing some off the back of their parachute.
Another notable one that I remember is she told me that black olives, the little ones that are sliced, and you know how when you look at them, they look like little tires. Mm-hmm. So the ones specifically that were in salads or on top of pizza, because how they kind of get all
yeah, I get what you mean.
Weird and distorted.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
When they're hot. Yeah, so my mom told me that those were shrunken down tires that were no longer able to be used,
That
and
is
so that we
so
would eat them.
Cute.
And I don't know if I believed. I honestly, like, looking back, I'm like, did I really believe her? I for sure believed the cotton and that you could go on cloud, like you could stay on the clouds. Like I was so hype to like stay on a cloud for a day or two.
Well, that's something as a kid that you just want to believe.
Oh, for sure.
You just want that to be real so bad.
Like the nubs thing, I'm like, I think I just kind of knew she was messing with me, but I kind of was just like, maybe, you know, like as a kid, like pretty much anything is game. You can just be like, sure, why not?
Well, like as a kid, you're just like, you feel like you're not in a position to call out your parents. Because, like, what are you really going to, like, challenge them when they're, like, older and bigger and stuff like that? It's tough.
Oh, exactly. True. Like, and, like, I sometimes knew my mom was messing with me, but I knew it was in fun. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just a way for us to, like, yes and each other.
It was good-spirited.
It was, yeah. And, like, yeah, my mom and I are, like, we have bits going all the time. It's really funny when I introduce, like, when I would bring like a friend, like a new friend, or like introduce her to a new boyfriend, my mom and I would joke around with each other, and it would be like, oh, this is a joke from, and we'd have to like stop what we were doing and be like, oh, this is a joke from when I was 7 and I said this, and then we yes-anded each other to this crazy point. And sometimes, yeah. And so like, so we still have these crazy inside jokes that from when I was like little, and some of them we can't even remember where they came from. We've just been doing them for so long, and that we're like, why did we start saying that? But we don't really question anymore. We just keep going. But it's really funny when like a new person comes into the fold and they're just like, what the heck is going on here? And my mom and I are just like, oh, you know, just going along with our bit. And yeah, we're constantly doing bits with each other, and it's fun. Sometimes it can go a little bit far.
Oh, that's when it's the most fun. When it
No, when it gets a little mean.
Oh.
It can be sometimes it can be a little mean-spirited. Yeah, we try not to take it too far. Most of the time we just try to joke around with each other and not make it like passive aggressive, because it has gotten to passive aggressive territory where we're like, instead of like talking to you directly about a problem I have with you, I'm just going to yes and until we get to that problem. And then I'll just be like, so is this like a problem? And then she's like, oh, you know, we try to make it like as lighthearted as possible.
So basically you set up an imaginary world to get to the real world.
Exactly.
That's not unhealthy, but I can see where that could get like problematic. And
yeah, because you don't know what's real and what isn't.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So anyways, yes, my mom has the most wonderful childlike like sense of wonder, and I think one of the very biggest reasons I married you is because you can yes and like no one I've ever known before.
Aww.
Like you, like people that I've dated before you did not understand my humor fully.
Me neither.
They thought I was funny.
Yes.
But they'd be like, but like a lot of times it would be like, whew. And then when I met you,
yeah,
like when you and I first started talking, you got it right away. And like, so my mom and I do this thing where we're just like, oh, it's so funny to me. So when I was little, I'd be like, oh, I'm hungry. And she'd be like, no, you're not. And then somehow I just knew. I would just be like, oh, I'm not? I thought I was. And she's like, no, you're really not actually. You're just tired. And I'd be like, oh, wow. And it's almost like a form of gaslighting, but like a joke, in a joking way.
Right.
Where it's like, I want to go to this place. No, you don't. You really don't, actually. And then you just go along with it.
Right.
The whole bit is that you're just like, oh, you know what? You're right. I had no idea. I thought that I wanted to go to this place this whole time. But you know what? You know better than I would.
And then by the end of the bit, you're not hungry anymore.
Well, no. That's not the point.
It was all part of the plan, you see.
But I had a previous relationship where I would do that with this person, and he just never got it. So he would say stuff, and I'd be like, no, you don't. And he'd just be like, no, I do, though. Like, blah, blah. You know, he'd just go on. Like, he would not go along with the bit.
Right.
And I remember the first time I did it to you, you were like, I don't know if you did the same thing I did, where I was like, oh, but you went along with it. You were like, okay, yeah, I guess I don't. Yeah, I think you're right. And I was like, whoa, this is the first person that's ever gotten it. Even like friends didn't understand it.
I think with me, with friends and with like relationships, I would try to do yes and stuff, and some people would go along more than others, but I would always end up losing people, no matter what.
Yeah, me too.
Like I would always end up
take it too far.
right.
But you and we can never take it too far for each other.
I don't think so. We've had bits that have gone on for an hour.
Yeah.
Like we've literally like looked at the clock and been like, where did that hour go?
It's kind of weird, honestly. Like,
Oh, it's amazing.
if anyone were just like, I always imagine if we were in a Big Brother situation, if we just had like cameras in the corners of our house and people could like hear us and just watch us for a day, they'd be like, these people are insane. Like, but we have so much fun. All I care about is that we have fun and that you understand the assignment every time.
Well, those people would be going, maybe it's fun to be insane because they look like they're having a blast.
Oh my God. Like, okay, not too long ago, you were making me laugh so hard that I almost peed myself. I was like, I couldn't breathe because I was laughing so hard. And like, there's this thing where like, you know, sometimes when you're laughing so hard or like you're smiling for so long that it hurts your cheeks. No, ours goes beyond that. It hurts the back of our head.
Mm-hmm. That
Like,
happened before we even started dating.
Yeah.
It
Like
was
when we first
a
started
sign.
really talking to each other and like making each other laugh. Like the muscles on the back of my head hurt and I've never had that before. If you've had that, let us know because I've never heard anyone say that.
Nope, me neither. People have said their side hurts, their cheeks hurts.
Yeah.
I've never had the back of my head hurt.
Yeah, and like it hurts worse than your cheeks hurting.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
It's like a brain freeze, but in a different place.
Yeah, it's really
so
strange.
Weird. Love it though.
But yeah, I had that going on where the back of my head was hurting. I was remember I was crying laughing? I was literally crying tears and just like, oh my, you have to stop. Like I don't remember what were we even laughing about.
I can't remember, but we'll
You were
find
doing
it again.
oh, you do the best characters. Like I'll just be doing something and then you'll just make this random character. Oh, and then last night we were going. Last night while we were making. Wait.
Was it the Cinderella character?
Yeah, the Cinderella character.
Yeah.
But we have so many bits with each other.
Oh yeah.
Like like the other day we were making for Christmas. I wanted to make these cutout sugar cookies. We're making the cutout sugar cookies, and then all of a sudden Shane is like pretending that that he's an Italian baker and that he is involved with the mob somehow. And then this mob boss comes in and he's just like, "Oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm just making the cookies." and then he's like, this whole thing is just a one-man show. So he's just like, "Oh yeah, no, pecorino, oh," and just like doing his thing. And you basically were like having a one-sided conversation as if you were talking to a mob boss and that you were making the best cookies. Like you kept saying like, "I make the best cookies. You want some cookies? I don't have any money for you." It was hilarious. And I was just like, God, I love your brain so much. I really love it. It's so awesome to see it.
Like you encourage it in a way that it's never been encouraged before.
That's crazy to me.
And it I don't know, my brain feels at home with you, if that makes sense. The craziness doesn't feel like something I should be ashamed of, which is very, very different for me.
Yeah, honestly, same for me. Because, like, I've been told growing up from, like, family and friends that I'm too much.
Oh, yeah.
That I feel too much, that I love too much. Like, everything I do is too much. I'm always dramatic to people. And I just know, like, with you, it's never been like that for me. You've always been, like, whenever I'm having a breakdown over something seemingly small, you're like, no, you are, like, your feelings are valid. And, like, we talk about it at the, when I'm done, and I tell you why I had that visceral reaction, and you're like, I understand it. I completely understand it. You've always been so understanding. And then with my humor, like I said, I would take it too far. Oh, but other people think I take it too far, and they'll just be like, okay, it's not funny anymore. Like, you can stop now. And with you, it's never like that. Like, I'll say things that, like, I know for a fact that my friends would be like, okay, and you laugh as hard as possible. Like, it's so great. So find you a person who never thinks that your emotions are not valid, and find you a person that also yes ands the shit out of you.
I never felt like it's gone too far. Because honestly, the feeling I get is that I want more. And I want this feeling more. And I want to keep building.
Yeah, and the thing about my humor, too, is, like, I'm very dry. My face will stay, like, very, like, deadbeat. Or what is that called?
Deadpan.
Deadpan.
Yeah.
It'll be a deadbeat face. It won't show up.
Dariel's face owes me some kisses today. Where is she? She's not here.
She's a deadbeat.
She's a deadbeat face.
What? So my humor is very like deadpan. So my face, like sometimes you don't even know if I'm messing with you. You're like, "Are you joking?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And you're like, "You're so deadpan. I can't. It sounds real."
Oh, I mean, like you would be an amazing actress because, like, I swear, the way you say things is the exact way you say things when you mean them, but you'll be joking.
Yeah.
And like, I swear, like if we had a lineup and you did the same thing, nobody would be able to tell the difference.
I understand that because sometimes I'll say it back again and I'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I can understand why you thought I was like being serious." I'm just a very dry humor type of person. I've noticed that my humor, the darker the better, because I've had so much trauma in my life. For me, the only reason I'm still here today is because I can laugh through the pain, and so I kind of just mess and joke about like some really dark stuff. And you're the only person that takes it darker than I do. And I love it. I'm just like, yes, like this is my dude.
I don't know where that came from. I know when I grew up watching The Simpsons, I loved the dark humor. I don't know why. But like there are some jokes that my dad would look over at me and be like, "Dang, son, I did not think you would like that." But yeah, I don't know what it is because I haven't had the past that you have, but I don't know. Dark humor just kind of speaks to me.
I think it's also, though, because we both have sort of like the same brain chemistry. Both have clinical depression. And most of the time when you have depression, you see things on the darker side. You see things like, and anxiety as well. You go straight for the worst case scenario. And the only way to get through it sometimes is just to laugh about it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just crying and you're tired of crying at this point. So you're just going to laugh at it. Yeah, we're very similar in that way. And I think that's so important. Friends that I've had in the past and people I've been with in the past just have never really amounted or like understood me the way, like the insane way that you do.
Yeah.
And it's so awesome. I love it.
I think for most of my relationships, I've tried to change myself to fit in. Mm-hmm. So those like kind of weirder, creepier, darker parts of my brain, I've like shut them off, and shut them off or close them off. It's almost like a room that you don't want people to see.
Right.
But with you, I open that door, you can see all my rooms.
Like this is
and
the
I feel
first
so
time.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is the first relationship, like romantic and friend wise, that I've never had to feel the need to reduce myself in any way. I've never felt the need to like, oh, I can't react that way because he's not going to understand. Like you understand me to a point that sometimes you understand me more than I understand myself. Mm. Like I'll have a visceral reaction to something and then we'll talk about it later. And I'm like, I don't know why I reacted like that. And you're like, oh, it's because of this, this, and this. And I'm like, damn, I've never thought about it like that. That is so true.
You're similar to me too. Like you get me seeing things that I like never saw. And sometimes it's things that like have been recurring issues or recurring just incidents for me. And like, I'm like, I don't get why. And then you'll be like, well, it probably has to do with this. And I'm like,
yeah.
I've never made the connection before.
I know.
And it's just good because you can grow with that kind of person. Because you can't grow if you're reducing yourself.
That is so true. Wow.
Yeah. Poetry right there. Yeah.
No, it's true though. You really can't. You cannot grow and you can't figure out the weird part of yourself if you're always shoving it inwards.
Yeah. You got to learn to love that weird part of yourself.
And I do love the fact that I still have a really great imagination because it makes me creative and it makes me driven because I want to do like when I'm feeling that creative spark, like there's nothing that gets in my way for me and I will, you've seen it with this podcast. Like I spend hours, thousands of hours. I've spent thousands of hours on this podcast easily because I want it, because like this is my baby and I want it to grow and I want it to be the best that it can be.
But it's just really easier to love that part of yourself when somebody else loves it, because then you know that it's, I don't know, it just makes it feel like it's worthy of love.
Right.
When there's somebody else there loving it, and then, you know, you warm up to that side, that weird side of you.
Yeah. This is the first time I've really embraced my weirdness and felt like me as a person, that I'm enough, that I matter, and that like the weird part of me doesn't make me unlovable. It makes me cool. It makes me like different from other people.
You really are the coolest person I've ever met.
Oh, babe.
Like, you really are. You have a cool sense of style and music and creativity, and you just have a cool way of, like, showing affection to people and love to people, and, like, animals freaking love you. It is so sweet. Anytime there's, like, an animal, they, like, just warm up to you instantly.
Yeah, it's really sweet. Whenever I'm, like, talking about animals, or when he sees me interacting with an animal, you're always very complimentive, like, where you're just like, oh, they love you so much, and like, look at them, and like, I think it's almost like, you know, in my brain I'm like, do they like me, or like I'm always like second guessing things, and like when you talk to me that way, it helps me a lot. So thank you for doing that. It's really
baby,
sweet.
Of course. Like, I'm really not doing anything. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm just being honest. Just relaying the truth to you.
I hope that I do the same thing for you.
Oh, all the time. All the time. Oh.
Hi, little girl. Yeah, like your dog. I instantly fell in love with your dog when I first met her.
This silly girl.
Yes.
Just
and she also, like, we have a bond like I've never had with the dog before. Like, even with my own dog. There's something about Shiloh that, like, we just, like, she is my daughter. Like, like, I feel like I birthed her. I do. Like, we have this unspoken bond, and it's so wonderful. You know, like, in a relationship where you're stepping in as a parent, and, like, you're kind of coming into a situation where there's already, like, an established parenting style, and, like, you're kind of an outsider, and so you're like, I don't know if I want to take a parental role, or, like, you almost feel like sometimes step parents, they love you, but not as much as they would love their own child. And so it's like this weird disconnect. I thought that it was going to feel the same way when if I got involved with someone with, like, their own pets. But Shiloh feels like my dog. Like, she is my dog.
Yeah.
Like, I feel such a strong connection with her.
I think Shiloh has a good way with making humans feel loved, and you have a great way with making animals feel loved. So it was always meant to be a match.
This dog follows me everywhere. Like, even when you're around.
She loves you.
Like, yeah, I just, like, seriously though, like, the second I met her, it was like this instant bond.
That was very important. And, like, yeah, she just, like, yeah, she had a connection with you. And, like, you have just such a way of figuring out animals. Like, you can figure them out and, like, be like how they wanted to be loved more than anybody I think I've ever met.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people love animals the way they want to love animals.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I mean,
so
you love animals the way they want to be loved.
I volunteer at a cat shelter once a week, and the people that I work with there, I've noticed, like, the way that they love on these cats, like, I'm just like, I am surprised this cat is not mauling your freaking. And sometimes, like, the cat will be, like, biting them and scratching them, and they're just like, oh, you're fine. And they just keep going. And I'm like,
they don't get the hint.
So I'm very good at, like, I think it's because of trauma, but I'm really good at knowing how I should interact with certain animals, but also people. I'm really good at diffusing situations and, like, getting along with pretty much anyone. But with animals, I have this weird, this crazy, like, it's like second nature to me to know exactly what they want. So I know like, there is a cat that has been at the shelter for 2-3 months, and I don't go near that cat. He does not want me near him. I can feel it.
Yeah.
And whenever I clean his space, like, I give him as much space as I can. I'll say nice things to him. You know, I'll talk to him because we're trying to, like, socialize him. So I'll just be like, oh, hi, you're so handsome. What are you doing? Oh, you drank so much. Good job. You're staying hydrated. So I'll talk to him, right? But I know that he doesn't want me touching him. He doesn't want me interacting with him other than that. And I can tell that he's happy about it. When I give him his space, like, he's happy about it. And then last week I was cleaning his space, and another volunteer came in and just starts messing with this cat, and he immediately goes from 0 to 100 and just starts like biting her and scratching her. And then it turned into a like emergency situation because he was trying to get away from her, ran out of the room, and the cats are not supposed to be free roaming. They're supposed to stay in their little catios.
Yeah.
And this cat in particular does not get along with other cats. So he's not allowed to be roaming around. Some cats are allowed to roam around at this place because they get along with other cats and they're not a risk. But this cat will try to cut a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, and so I was just like, how can you not recognize like what are you doing? And they think that they're doing like she's like, I'm just, socializing him. And I'm like, that's not how you socialize a cat, where you just come in and you're like, yeah, you have to take my love. It's like, you let the cat come to you. I've always known that. You let the cat come to you. If the cat comes to you, they want to, and this cat has never come to me. Yeah. Never once has come to me. So I'm like, I understand. You want your space. And I completely respect that.
I think, you see cats and dogs and pretty much every animal. Like, you see them really as living things with autonomy and, like, personality.
Because they are.
Exactly. It's funny, you and your mom had inside jokes. Me and my dad have inside jokes.
Yeah.
They haven't, like, grown in a little bit, but, like, we have a lot of the same ones. And one of them was, when I was a kid, I'd watch Tiny Toons. Mm-hmm. And there's a character on there called Elmira. And she would grab, like, Tasmanian Devil or Bugs Bunny or, one of the characters on there and just hug them and squeeze them. And she'd go, I'm going to love you and hug you and squeeze you and never, ever let you go. And their eyes get bigger and bulgier. And, like, you still see kids and, frankly, adults that are like that, where they just grab an animal and they'll just be like, ooh, a stuffed animal. I can just grab it and squeeze it and do whatever I want to it. And, like no, they're their own different, special, unique kind of living, breathing thing.
And they deserve space when they want it. They are not, like, just because we have a dog, just because we feed them, just because we take care of them, that does not mean they are obligated to give us the love that we want or that we expect from them ever. That is not up to you. It's up to them. And so, like, we have a cat that I actually adopted from the place that I volunteer at. She is a hard one. Sometimes, like, she wants to be loved. She wants to be near you, but she doesn't want to be touched. She just wants to vibe with you. So we know she loves us. We know that she's happy here, but she's not like our other cat, the cat who came before her. Like, I can pick her up whenever I want, and she literally begs to be picked up. She'll stand on her hind legs and be like, Mom, and like tap on me.
Oh, she did that the other day. It was so cute.
So she'll literally jump into my arms, and whenever we are laying downstairs, like watching our show, she will go on our chest, and she just loves, and she wants to be pet. Mm-hmm. And she does the thing where she nudges you, where she's like, hey, give me some pets.
Oh, she'll rub her head straight onto your chin.
So the younger cat, Moon, she'll do that sometimes. Sometimes, like, she's in a mood where she's like, I need you to touch me right now. And so you'll touch her, right? But I can always tell when she's done, when she's just like, leave me alone. But she wants to be near you. And it's so hard for me because I love to give love, and I love to, like, with my animals, I'm very touchy. And, like, so Lily, my dog, she loves to be loved. She's a lover. Like, watch now. Now she's like, oh, you touched me? Okay.
Very much so.
See, she just wants, like, and you could pet her for hours and she would never get tired of it. She loves it. And, like, with Moon, she's kind of... so cute. She makes these little happy grunts when she's happy. Yeah. But anyways, it's just like a matter of, I've gotten really good at reading social situations because of trauma. So I just know how to diffuse situations, but I know how to treat people And it's because I wasn't treated that way in the past. And I wish people understood me. So it's what I do is I try to understand everyone. Like there are certain people in our life, and you know who I'm talking about. There is a certain person in our life that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. And whenever they're around, it's hard on both of us. But I'm really good at kind of being like, well, they're probably acting this way because of X, Y, and Z, and they've been through this and that. And it's not like I'm making excuses for them, but I'm trying to understand the psychology of why they are the way that they are.
And you're so much better at that than me. Like I, am older than you and still have no idea about social situations or cues or context or a lot of those things. Like
that doesn't really come with age, honey. That just comes with being like socially aware.
Well, like I'll like be like unknowingly making a scene like someplace, and you'll be like, okay, people can hear you. And I'm like, I try to like play it off like I don't care, but like obviously I didn't intend in the first place to make like some sort of
no, that's more so on me because I don't like to have public scrutiny. I don't like people looking at me in public, and like I just have like I don't do well in crowds. I don't do well in a public situation with people that I don't know or trust. And sometimes like you cannot control the volume of your voice. So people, and I've noticed like you'll be talking to me and you'll be talking to me about stuff that people don't need to hear about, or people don't need to hear like what you're talking about. And I am so insanely aware that people are giving us looks and like listening to I hate when people listen to our conversation. That is one of the, and it's funny because I'll do it to other people. I'm like, oh my God, do you hear what they're saying? Oh my, like drama. So I'm like, I'm guilty of it, but I hate when it happens to me. I don't want people knowing my personal business. Like, yes, I'm good at connecting with people. I love connecting with people. I love being open with people, but on my own terms. When I'm the one telling them, not when they're trying to get my personal drama from afar. You know what I mean? So like sometimes it's cool. I wish I could be that way sometimes where I could just like talk and not feel so self-conscious. So it's more so on me. It's not you.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it because I'm not self-conscious. I am self-conscious. It's just that sometimes I just lose a sense of awareness. But over time, I've learned that, like, I'm never going to see these people again. Who cares if I had one indiscretion where I
know.
revealed too much?
I'm getting that way. The older I get, that's something that really is true. The older you get, the less you care about how many people like you and think about you.
It's almost better when you get older for less people to like you.
Yeah.
If a lot of people like you when you get older, that kind of means that you're more amoeba-ish. That you can kind of mold to
and you have no boundaries.
And you have no boundaries.
Yeah.
And yeah, like as I've gotten older, I've learned that like not everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
So
not everyone deserves to be in your space.
Yeah, keep the winners around you and then just let the losers go.
Yep. And don't be sad about it. I know it's hard in the moment, but I swear when you look back, like there are certain people in my life that I had to let go, and I had to, I had to set boundaries for myself. And at the time, it was one of the hardest things I'd ever done, and I felt so bad, and I felt like such a bad person. But looking back and talking about it, like especially when I talk about it with you, I know I made the right decision. Like, and it feels good to set boundaries for yourself. I know sometimes, like if you're a chronic people pleaser, like me, it's really hard to set boundaries for yourself. But with age and also like doing the work that needs to be done, so going to a therapist and talking about the traumatic events that happened in your life, and like really doing the inner work of figuring out why you have no boundaries and why you're a people pleaser, like with age it really does get better, and like proper education and that kind of thing. But I'm still working on boundary setting. Like,
yeah. I mean, same here, especially when I get into a professional setting, like when I'm at work. I get most of my job's been customer service, so there's people pleasing built into the job, and then like setting a wall or setting a boundary while you're in the people pleasing mindset, it can be very, very hard.
It can be, but with the job I'm doing now, which is very people centric, customer servicey, I've been really good at like distancing myself and not being the first person to like jump up and do something, because I know what I'm worth, and I am by no means being paid what I'm worth. Mm-hmm. I'm done doing things and taking precious time away from myself and putting myself out there in a way that doesn't really help me at all. It helps this other person, and it helps a corporation that doesn't give a shit about you. And I have been so like, I've been really proud of myself, kind of like I'm really good at putting my boundaries up at work right now.
I can tell because you don't seem to be as emotionally hurt by this job as you have been by other jobs.
Yeah.
Because other jobs, I feel like that boundary hasn't been there, and so you put more of yourself into it.
Yes.
And not receiving like anything close to just compensation back.
Yeah.
And it's been very painful.
Yeah,
that
it's
kind of
super
experience.
painful.
Yeah, it's really painful. So like you haven't done that as much as like it's still
prevalent.
It
but
still sucks, but it's
nowhere near as bad.
It's not as deep, you know.
No.
The cut isn't nearly as deep.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like, there's people that will they want to be jerks just to be jerks. They just want to make your day miserable because they're miserable. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, listen, I'm getting paid minimum wage. Yeah. So if you want to act like that, that's on you. And like, it's not that I'm mean to people, but I'm like, I'm not going to go out of my way to be nice to you now. Mm-hmm. Like if I get so many people that will come up and I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? Oh, is this what you're getting? And then they just will like ignore me. So then I won't, I'm like, okay, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to talk to you for the rest of this transaction. And then there's certain things that I'll do as well where I'm like, I am not going to go out of my way to be nice to you when you don't deserve it.
Yeah, because like that gives a little bit of yourself.
It does. It really like some of your soul it feels like you're sucking some of your soul out and giving it to them, and then they're just going to trash it. So I'm like, I am allowed to have a wall. I'm allowed to protect my happiness, and I'm allowed to, like, if you respond to me in a rude way, mm-hmm. I know my worth, you know, and I'm not going to go off on you. I'm not going to like curse you out. Like, I'm just going to be like, ooh, it must be really sad to be as miserable as you are in your life. Yeah. Like, and I've been miserable in my life, and I have never treated someone the way you're treating me right now.
Yeah. There's, I was watching this video that talked about how like the whole American dream and working hard and stuff like that comes kind of more from a time period when we were like going out onto the plains mm-hmm. and building our own homesteads and stuff like that. So the work that you're putting in was being returned to you.
It was. And you were doing it for yourself. It was it was for your benefit.
Yeah, so all that stuff, all that hard work was something that was returned to you.
Yep.
Now where we are is that we're working hard for someone else's benefit.
For the 1%'s benefit.
So it's better than to, instead of, you know, working hard as part of the system, to kind of exploit the system more. Right. And use it for your own personal advantages, which is more stuff like a nice family, pets, mm-hmm. kids, you know, hobbies, like things that have nothing to do with work. As opposed to when we were back in the 19th century, work was your life. Your homestead was your life. That's what you worked on. Your family lived on that homestead. So it was all connected. Right. Now there's a disconnect. Mm-hmm. Like all that effort you put in is not given back to you.
No, by any means, no. Unless you are in the 1%.
I mean, yeah.
That's... And even like when you're in the 1%, you're not doing work. Everyone else is working for you.
Yeah, the richer you get, the more you figure out how to extract value from other things.
Yeah,
right?
And it's so disheartening.
Yeah,
it's disgusting to me how people can use people the way that these rich people are.
Yeah, like I saw this one post. It was like it was from a landlord. So like the bank buys houses for you, the tenants pay the rent, and then the property manager handles the rest.
Yep.
But you, the landlord,
you get all the profit.
Are the one that collects the cash at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you don't contribute anything.
No.
You don't build a house. You don't put the sink, the furnace, the refrigerator. You don't put anything into the house, and you don't live
break
in
anything. Like you don't fix anything that's broken.
Yeah, you don't live in the house either.
No.
So you do nothing, but you make all the money.
And you make all the rules too.
Yes,
you get to make the rules of how these people live in this house.
And if they break those rules, you get more money.
You get more money, and like the laws are so skewed to the landlord rather than the people living in the house and giving you their hard-earned income.
Yeah, which is why when California passes things like it make it hard to evict people, then people like piss themselves and are like, I can't kick them out on the streets. I think these are the same fucking people that will complain about there being a homeless problem and then not see their own not see the hand that they
played. Yeah.
I mean, I understand if we're all starting from zero. So, like, let's say everybody starts with the same income and you work hard for your cash and then you get to this point of being a landlord. That's fine. But, like, you can't have these rules and then not understand the role that, like, inherited wealth plays to your advantage into having this cash to be a landlord or to be, I don't know, fucking hedge fund manager or to be something like that where you can not contribute but make money.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think that's fair. I don't think everyone in the 1% has walked over people and taken advantage of people and been a disgusting greedy person. Look at Amazon. Fucking like Jeffrey Bezos, he is on a throne of lies. He sits on a throne of lies. He is one of the most disgraceful and upsetting people, and it's really hard for me to realize like helping his business is helping his lifestyle.
What I could see happening is something like, do you know you've heard the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire? Like, no. It was this basically they were making shirts in this factory. I forget where it was in America, and you know, it was obviously not the best working conditions. It was dark and cramped and a lot of flammable stuff around. Well, there's a fire, and it was mostly women, and they jumped out the windows to not be burned alive.
Oh, yes, I have heard about this,
and this inspired a lot of factory reform.
Yeah.
So you didn't have these sweatshops anymore. Eventually, there's going to be a fire at an Amazon, what are they called, filling stations?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be a fire at an Amazon filling station, and they're going to have these people work through the fire.
Fulfillment center.
Oh, God. Fulfillment center where no one feels a feeling of fulfillment. Mm-hmm. Lovely. They're going to have something like that at Amazon where they're going to be like, well, no, you got to keep filling these boxes. Then, like, why did you leave? Because there was a fire? You're all fired. I mean, stuff like that has happened. Yeah. They made them work through COVID. They made them work in Indiana. They made them work through a tornado.
Yep.
Like, this is Dickensian. This is like, you know, old-timey turn of the 19th century into the 20th century, like, sweatshops.
Well, I feel like, yes, there were changes made back in those times to make working conditions better. But there's always that one company that can sneak by doing the bare minimum and taking advantage of people in their time. And Amazon is one of them. And like he literally never had to do anything. He had to do zero work to get to where he is today.
I'd say he worked.
It is on the backbones of other. No,
he was selling books.
He was selling books. How hard is that?
I mean, he didn't really even have to open up a shop.
He didn't. He was a third party that people would sell their books on. And he's like, sure, yeah, you can use my website to do that. You just have to pay me a fee. So he did not have to work hard for where he is today. So for these people saying like grind culture, he had no grind culture. He had no grind. He just literally, this is the thing. People that get as rich as he does, they have this uncanny ability to understand that there is, there's not really a place you can buy books cheap online. Bing, I'm going to do that because I know it's going to make me a shit ton of money. And then, like, it's not like because he had good work ethic. Mm-hmm. It's not because he's a good person. It's not because he grinded as hard as he possibly could he didn't. He just got lucky because he knew how to manipulate the system.
Well, we already had books and we already had the internet. So what did he contribute?
Nothing.
Yeah, he didn't invent anything. This isn't like a company that invented airplanes. This isn't a company that invented the polio vaccine. He's not creating anything. We already
Yeah.
had books, and we already had the internet. He just
Yep.
sold books on the internet. Fucking wow.
Yeah. Good for you.
It's like Tesla. We already had electric cars.
Yeah.
He didn't create anything.
And the thing is, too, we were talking about this the other day. Do you think Elon Musk was sitting in his... I always you always think about like a mad scientist kind of guy for Elon Musk. So I'm like, is he sitting in a lab, like this big spacious lab, and he's like, I'm going to build this electric car and it's going to look just like this. And these are all the parts that... So like people think that Elon Musk literally built the Tesla, that he put it together with his own two very soft boy hands. And that he was the one who engineered this marvel. And then so like... So that's why he got as popular as he did, because he didn't stop those rumors of like, yeah, I did all. No. He exploited people who knew how to do those things, and then he raked in the profits.
Why would you turn down good marketing? See, that's kind of our own problem, and this is a problem with history, the thing we love, is that it's just so much easier to tell a story where one guy did the thing.
Yeah, and it's never the case.
The one I always like to bring up is Edison, because Edison, you say Edison, you think light bulb.
You think light bulb.
Yeah,
he did not. No,
he
didn't even do the backbone.
The concept of the light bulb was already put in place. That thing, that tungsten that keeps burning, that makes a light bulb possible, that wasn't discovered yet. So what Edison did is that he just had basically a factory with a bunch of workers, and all they did was like try different material until they got one that worked. They tried everything until they got one that worked.
And he was the do it guy, where he's like, you sit down and burn things until you find one that burns forever.
Yeah, and not saying that he didn't. Well, really, if you know anything about Edison, he didn't invent much. There's things that he did invent, but mostly he improved.
He got lucky.
He improved on things that were already there. Yeah,
which is like totally cool, great, but he doesn't deserve the title of the guy who created electricity and the light bulb.
But it's just such an easier story. It's just such an easier story to think of Edison sitting down and like drawing a light bulb on a piece of paper. Well, with little light coming out of it and being like,
it's like a picture of him going like this, and then there's a light bulb above him.
Yeah.
But like the cool thing about this whole Tesla thing is he's had to recall pretty much every single one of his Teslas, because there's the autopilot that's the only thing people want on these Teslas, besides the fact that they don't have to buy gas. It's the whole curb appeal, if you will, to the Tesla, is that you don't have to drive it. It drives itself. And now it's being pretty much every single one of them is recalled because that is failing. And so, sure, yeah, take the good press that you're the guy who created this stuff, and you're the guy who literally built this electric car that's good for the environment with your own two hands. So now all that spotlight is on you. And the reason it's failing is you.
That's the big problem with it all, though. Every Tesla could have their autopilot fail, drive off a cliff, and he'd still be fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, becoming ruinous anymore.
And it's just because of how disgusting our society is with, yeah, but look, he's rich.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like he's rich.
And that's the thing. You should be able to, if you, hypothetically in this situation, if you can go from poor to rich, you should be able to go from really rich back down to poor, right? You should be able to be Elon Musk, but then eventually fuck up so bad that you're back working at a Dairy Queen.
Yep.
No offense to people who work at Dairy Queen. You work very, very, very hard.
No, but like that's the whole story, right? Like
yes.
I started at a Dairy Queen and I worked my way up the ladder and I exploited people on the way there, and then I stepped on people and I manipulated people and I took advantage of people. And look at me now. I tell people what to do now. Like that's the whole story, right?
And
like,
you hypothetically should go back tumbling down the mountain if, your cars
if your cars don't do the one thing that you say that they do.
Yeah. Like nobody can mess up like look at Twitter. It's lost half its value?
Yep.
And
but he's blaming it on everyone else.
I don't think he personally has lost very much, I'm not sure, I'd have to look it up again. I don't think he's lost very much personal wealth because of his incompetence and mismanagement, which...
No. And people they still look at him as like this guy that they want to be like.
Well, what sucks is that like kids look up to him.
Yeah.
Like kids think of him as like a great big inventor. Like kids love tech. Like I had to explain to these kids when I was teaching over the summer that like, no, he didn't invent all his wealth. His wealth came from because his parents had a mining contract where like in South Africa, private industries own the mining, not the people who actually do the actual mining.
Yep.
So that's where he got his family wealth that he could then turn into his 14-year-old little boy fantasies. Because I swear he's just a 14-year-old that didn't grow up.
He's stunted for sure.
He's got his cool leather jacket, and he's like, I'm gonna go on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I might try this little weed lollipop. Ooh, that sounds nice. Ooh, I'm just a little boy. Yeah, he's a man child, and it sucks that a man child doesn't have to worry about money.
No,
but I swear to God, there's people in fulfillment centers, there's people working at docks, there's people driving trucks right now that are sitting at home and have to scrape by to make rent. But this guy, this man child, doesn't. He doesn't have to worry about money for the next 1,000 lifetimes.
Yeah. Him, his kids, his kids' kids, his kids' kids' kids.
Yeah.
Like like he created generational wealth basically. So like his family, his bloodline, they will never have to worry the way that us, like people like us, will.
And like that used to be a thing that if you were going to be that generationally wealthy, you had to give something. You had to create jets. You had to create, planes that could fly across the Atlantic. You had to create cars that any normal human being could afford. You had to create something like plastics that makes your home easier. You had to create something that made life easier. I can't think of anything the last time somebody made something that made life that much easier, like created something.
No.
Something that did not exist and now does exist.
Yeah. It's always on the backbone of somebody else.
Yeah, it's always stuff that's already there that was either given to you or that somebody else made that you took and then now you're making so much money.
Yeah. I don't know how we got onto this topic.
Welcome to our TED Talk.
Yeah, seriously. Welcome to our TED Talk. Let's go back to lighter things. As we were saying, Christmas just happened. And so we said we weren't going to do presents for each other, but we said we could at least get each other one thing. Your gift to me was that you bought me my favorite movie growing up, which was Barbie and the Nutcracker. And those who know. Like that movie slaps.
It was really good.
It still holds up today.
It's
like
really
the animation, not that great. But like the visuals, like the storyline, the visuals, they did such a good job with that movie. And I remember I was telling Shane, like, I would watch that movie so often. Like, and it wasn't even like during Christmas time. I would watch it all year long, like 3 or 4 times a week, because that's how much I loved it. And so watching it again with you was so amazing. It was only $8, so that's fun
to have too.
Yeah, we bought the movie, so we can watch it whenever we want. And for me, I bought him. He loves hot sauce. And the place I work at sells like this really cool, like animal inspired hot sauce from all over the world. And so I got him like 2 hot sauces that I thought he would really like. And one of them I'm really excited about because it's ghost pepper. And I have never dealt with ghost pepper. I can't handle heat, but Shane really can. So what we're going to do right now is Shane is going to try the lesser of the 2, which is what?
It's lemon and garlic peri-peri sauce, which I really want to use this on wings because I love lemon pepper wings. Lemon pepper wings are good. I know some people have mixed feelings about them, but if you can make lemon pepper wet wings, oh my God.
Yeah,
they're some of the greatest things ever.
And I love lemon pepper wings, so I'm very excited for this. So yeah, he's gonna open it up, and if y'all aren't watching the video, I highly recommend you do it because this is prime content. All right, so
peri-peri sauce.
Okay, can I try it too?
Oh my god.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it smells so good.
So good. Ooh.
Oh, it's lemon and garlic.
Yeah, it's got just a little kick to it too. Not too much. So
Yeah.
good, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That on wings, I would gain 50 pounds.
Wow.
Like, oh, very good. Yeah. It's from African Dream
Cleanse my
Foods.
palate.
And made in South Africa. Now,
Sorry.
here is the
That's
one
the
that's
big
going to
boy.
be interesting.
I don't think I can try that one because I am a wimp when it comes to. Well, I'm not a wimp. Okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to be mean to myself like that. I'm not a wimp, but I honestly don't know if I want to put myself through that.
I mean, trust me, there's a lot of people that like I would say most people can't do like spicy. I can barely do spicy. Most people think I can do more than I can actually can.
I for sure thought you could do more than you actually could because I remember there was one time that I was eating this like Indian food that was like way too spicy for me and you ate all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you, because like if you eat Indian
So
food,
good.
their spicy is like 2 times what you think a spicy should be.
That was so good. I specifically remember that. I remember being like, oh, this is so spicy. And for me, it was perfect.
You loved it.
So quick aside about ghost pepper. When I was in college, this was right around the 2010 World Cup, which was in South Africa. So there was a lot of vuvuzelas going around. If you remember, that's what they gave to all the crowd was these vuvuzelas, these horns.
Yes.
So it sounded like a buzzing
Yep.
throughout the entire tournament. So one of my roommates, well, not one of my roommates, one of the guys who lived down the hall from me, he had a vuvuzela that he would blast all over the place. And he and my roommate didn't get along all the time for whatever reason, just classic college stuff. So one night, what my roommate did was that my other roommate had this giant bottle of ghost pepper extract, like a giant bottle. He just had weird stuff, and he would let people try it, and he would usually put just like he had this tiny, tiny spoon that you had. And even back then, I kind of knew my limits, so I never tried it. One night, our friend is blowing that vuvuzela, and my roommate gets a hold of it, and he puts the ghost pepper extract
Like
upon the lip. And so...
Upon the lip?
Upon the lip, he put the ghost pepper.
What is that? That's that famous saying where it's like, a curse upon your...
Oh, a pox.
Oh, a pox, yeah.
A pox upon your house.
Yeah.
It's a pox upon both your houses.
Yeah, so
Remember
his
to do
is a ghost pepper upon your lips.
He did. It turned very Shakespearean for a second. And it got
I bite my thumb at you. That is so good. That's such a college thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of just being like, bro, please stop doing that, he's like, oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. I'm going to put him in so much pain.
You know what? You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do?
I'm in college, bro. I don't talk about things. I just I take my ghost pepper sauce and I put it on things, and then I basically he'll never use it again.
It's just a prank, dude. It's just a prank.
Bro, it's just a prank. Calm down.
Calm down. Why are you getting so sorry?
Anyways, okay,
so that's my ghost pepper side story.
Okay, no, I want to know what happened though. So the guy, so he got hold of it when he wasn't using it. Put the ghost pepper sauce upon the lips.
Upon the lips. And, the guy down the hall blew it, and his lips swelled up and became, bright ass red. It looked like this. It looked like this color. I can remember it to this day. They looked really red, burned, and, he was in pain.
Yeah.
And he was pissed.
Did he know that it was your friend's ghost pepper stuff, or?
I don't know if he knew exactly that's what it was right away. I think he just thought somebody put hot sauce or something upon it. But then once he found out it was the ghost pepper sauce, the shit that can really hurt you.
Yeah.
Then he was pretty mad. They didn't come to blows or anything because they weren't those kind of people where they would fight.
But yeah, he was not happy about
He was so mad. And then my roommate tried to like pay him off by like giving him like $100 or something like that.
What?
He just wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wouldn't take. He's like,
like that's not how you resolve issues. You're not just like, let me just throw money at it.
yeah.
Is this gonna work? Because the reason he was doing that because he knew.
Yeah.
This guy could have gotten in like legal trouble for doing that.
Yeah, we
you
were.
You can't
all
do stuff like that.
We were all saying that. We were all there.
Yeah, that's why he's trying to pay him off.
It was a big thing. He was the kind of guy who would take things too far, and like had no kind of social understanding of when things were going too far, and like people would have natural reactions, and he would like not understand why people were upset. He was that kind of a dude. Yeah,
so
that was a big issue.
He was like every frat guy, like the epitome of a frat guy.
Yes and no. Isn't that weird? Like he was, but at the same time, not in looks, not
in looks, but like the attitude.
That attitude, yes.
The epitome of what you think of when you think frat guy would be like.
Yes, which is kind of weird because the frat I was in didn't have that attitude for the most part. Like it had that in pieces and it had segments of that, but like he was the only guy who like had that whole like, what are you so upset about kind of vibe to him.
I'm just joking,
it's
bro.
It's just a joke, dude.
All right, let's try this. Let's try this
right.
ghost pepper
Here's
sauce.
Here's the ghost pepper.
Oh man, I'm worried. I'm nervous for you.
I mean, after that story.
Yikes. Okay, just the tiniest bit.
It's just a little bit.
Might not be good to put on your skin.
Oh, that's amazing.
Is it?
Oh.
Do you think I would think it's really hot?
It's really hot. I can. It's burning my mouth a little bit. It's
okay.
like burning my tongue a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But like, the spice, the taste.
Can I at least smell it?
Yes.
Okay.
The taste. Oh, it's so tangy.
Really?
Oh, this would be incredible to cook with.
Oh! I mean, it smells really good. But, whoa, it's going to start... My eyes are watering. Wow.
This would be so amazing to cook with.
It smells really good.
It's so good. It's so tasty. See, that's what I kind of don't... Like, certain hot sauces are just hot. And
yeah, where you just taste spicy. And it's like, there's no, like, flavor.
See, that's why I like... Because this is a very unique flavor. Because, you know, we... unfortunately don't have that much African food here in America.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have Ethiopian food in San Diego.
Really?
And we would go to Ethiopian places.
Ooh, that's cool.
It was so good.
I'm sure.
Oh,
anything but American food is always really good.
I mean, it's funny. You think of American food, you think hamburgers and hot dogs. It's German. It's not even American.
But it's Americanized.
It's Americanized, yes.
Yeah. It's all just fried bullshit. That's what American food is.
I mean, I don't know. I made that fried chicken the other day, and that was incredible. And then
a little bit of chicken fried.
And then corn is American. Corn's from America. Potatoes are American. So there's some good American stuff, but like not Americanized. So there's a difference between American food and Americanized food.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying Americanized food
is fried grossness.
Yeah.
But like American food, it's usually not like, you know, it's not the European styled food. Usually stuff that's really good and from America has the least to do with Europeans.
Okay, so I think we're going to end there.
Yes.
That was a crazy ride.
That was fun.
We started talking about sense of humors, and then we somehow, of course, always get back into socialism and the 1% being giant ulcers on the world's economic population.
I like to think of it as boils.
Boils?
Right on my ass.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Like every time you sit down, it's
they're
just
ass boils.
Yes.
Yeah.
Giant ass boils.
And then we came back to hot sauce.
Yeah. You know, it all goes back to hot sauce.
It all goes back to hot sauce.
It always goes back to hot sauce.
So thanks for listening.
Yeah. I love you so much, sweetheart.
I love you too. That's so nice.
That's so nice.
So we will see you next time. We'll see you next week, actually, because these are weekly now.
Oh, yeah.
So
and call to action. Do all the subscribing and the liking and the spreading of the word.
Yes, please do. I don't want to get too deep, but I guess it's not too deep. My New Year's resolution for 2024 is to grow this podcast, to be able to get sponsorship, to finally be able to create something that brings me joy and fulfillment and also allows me to pay my bills and not have to work at a greedy corporation that only sees me as a number, and also to work with my best friend and lover, and be able to provide for myself, my family, and my awesome, amazing pets. So please, if you really like our podcast, send it to everyone you know. And you never know, they'll be able to send it to someone else. And it's a whole tree. It's a whole root system. And it all goes back to hot sauce. Just remember that.
Always goes back to hot
It
sauce.
always goes back to hot sauce. All right. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week. And we love ya. Signing off.